Hey everyone, welcome to the Commissioner's Clubhouse on the LCC network for week 22 of the offseason. We've got a treat for all of you this week. None other than, obviously, we got our two guys, Jameis and Isaac. What's going on?
What's up, man?
What is up, guys? It's another great week. We're excited to be here for the rookie draft preview episode before everyone gets their picks in on Sunday. So, quick rundown, like always. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at the LC Clubhouse. Be sure to continue commenting on videos. We now have 4, if I'm not mistaken. Jordan, Cody, Mufali.
Ooh, slow down.
And Cameron. So those guys are in the running so far. Real quick, I wanted to mention, I saw Mufali's comment about wanting to be on the show. Wanted to call in on the show. We actually can't have anybody call in because of the software we use. We're all remote. But if you do want to be on the show, let us know. And if you've got a computer, a good computer, a decent mic, and internet access, we can actually have you on the show with us for an episode or for part of an episode, or you can send in a voice memo and we can actually play that on the show too. So let us know if you'd like to be on here and we can work something out. So rookie draft commitment picks are due by June 2nd. So that's Sunday, probably by the time you're listening to this. So be sure to get those in. Draft takes place June 14th through the 16th. Patrick, I see here, I didn't see this just now. We got LCC Fun Fact of the Week. That started today. That's going to be a weekly post.
Today is in Friday as we're recording this right now. So it'll be a weekly thing. Just something like goofy, you know what I mean? This week's was kind of, it ranked all of the divisions based on who had the highest winning percentage, each division. I don't want to take up too much time talking about it, but yeah, definitely be on the lookout for that kind of stuff. Just a couple of things. It's all going to be LCC related, and make sure you're on the lookout. It's going to be posted both in the group me for the league and also on the league image slider. That's like the little slideshow thing when you go to the website. So be sure to check it out every week.
Cool. Yeah. So all the way to the end of the 2019 season, it says here. So, and that got people fired up in the group me today. It looked like at least 2 people, Cody and Cameron. That was fun to watch. So I'm excited to see more of that. And then at the very, very end of the show, we've got a blooper from production from week 17 of the offseason. So 5 weeks ago, Patrick got kicked off of the recording. We couldn't hear him. He couldn't hear us. It led for some cursing and some frustration and some laughing. And we wanted to play with that with you guys, kind of behind the scenes look at the show. It doesn't always go smooth, even though we try to present it that way. But
even though it does
eventually. Yeah. But we'll play that at the end of the show here. So again, we got the rookie draft preview. That's it for today. We're going to go through 15 guys that came through our consensus list. Isaac's going to run that segment today for the first time. We'll let him do that. So
yes,
Isaac,
sir.
Let's get into the rookie preview.
I'm the rookie of the year. I'm the rookie of the year. I'm the rookie of the year.
All right. I know you guys are excited. Rookie draft premiere. I'm going to start off by saying all of us, me, Pat, and Jameson, we all had a total of 20 guys that we picked rookies, and we made a consensus list. So we're going to talk about the top 15 right now, and then we got a couple of honorable mentions. I know I've given Pat the crappiest hard time talking about these guys, but just believe that we're going to be fine, and we're going to get through this. So to start it off, I am going to talk about my boy Devin White, linebacker for the Bucks. Surprising, shocker. He's a top 5 pick in the first round. Playing status, there's no surprise here. He's an instant starter. And then last but not least, fantasy comparison. So I was trying to think of somebody that really, really reminded me of him. The speed, the aggression, the coverage ability, the tackling. And I thought of Pat Willis. You know, that's my fantasy comparison for Devin White. It was a little bit before my time when I started playing fantasy, but just going back and watching like a couple of highlight videos, like it makes me excited as a Buccaneers fan.
I think my biggest question is, I wonder what Patrick Willis did as a fantasy player in IDP. I mean, I know he was awesome in real life. I wonder if he was like Luke Kuechly equivalent back in the day when he was with the Niners. We didn't play IDP back then, but I'd be curious.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what grade I was in back then.
I mean, it wasn't that long ago, guys. I mean,
No.
I know for a fact I was in college when Patrick Willis is still playing for the 49ers. I mean, he's been he's really been a great player. I mean, over his career, I can kind of run. He played for like what 7 years, 2007 to 2014. So
Something
that's
like that.
that. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's
Yeah.
not as long as you would hope for a guy that was as great as he was, but he had over 100 tackles. I think I'm just counting it up right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times out of 7 years. Or yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, he got it 6 times. He played 8 years actually. 6 out of 8. Yeah, I'd take that. He was great.
No, but yeah.
So what do you
I was gonna
what do you
say,
guys think about the comparison?
I think it could be solid. Devin White's gonna be an absolute monster. If I had a pick in the top 5, he would be on my team. Absolutely, he's gonna be a plug and play guy from week 1, just like Leighton Vander Esch, just like Tremaine Edmonds, just like Darius Leonard, just like Roquan Smith. I have no doubts about Devin White. He's our consensus number 1 for a reason.
Yeah, I like him as a rookie. I wouldn't.
Yep.
I'm a little bit different than you guys and kind of my strategy and stuff, but yeah, no, he's definitely 100%. Like, if there's a guy you're wanting more than any other player on this list, it's definitely Devin White, and there's a reason for it. The production in college was there. His athletic ability we've seen in the combine and all that stuff. I mean, he is a legitimate linebacker who's going to get you a ton of points.
Yep.
And I hope I get him.
Consensus.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
At the
right.
at the ass end of the first round, I hope I get him.
Yeah.
There he gets a
Uh-huh.
top 5 pick.
Good
But
luck.
there's another guy that people really like, and it's another electric. I just want to throw it in there for Jameson.
I'm not playing
No,
the
but
sound
another, I know, another freak athletic guy at the combine is no other than
Yes, I let that go dramatically long.
Oh, good. That was perfect. But yeah, we're talking about Devin Bush, linebacker for the Steelers. So those are our top 2 guys, linebackers. They're really close in value, but Devin White, we're super excited about. But Devin Bush, he's going to be there probably in the mid to late first round. So, and of course, he's an instant starter. I mean, he's going to plug right in next to Mark Barron, supposedly, in that Steelers 3-4 defense. And we know that Ryan Shazier averaged, 34 points a game in that position like 2 years ago before he
got hurt. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, and I feel like Devin Bush is very talented, so he easily can step in there. Maybe not be that high, but he's definitely 30 or plus guy. So he's definitely worth the first round, especially with all the keepers and everything in our league. But
Yeah, they're
to finish
very-
it off. Yeah, go ahead.
They're very similar. White and Bush are very similar. To both athletic freaks. We have White obviously a little bit higher, but yeah, I mean, if you can't get White, Devin Bush is the absolute next best thing that you can get. And I always spend a first round pick on him for sure.
Oh yeah, me too. Pat's the only one that I think he had a second round grade on him, and when I was doing the consensus, I'm like, this man's crazy. Pat, why'd you have a second round on him?
Well, here's the deal, man. Everyone in this league is very reactive in terms of what they see from a previous year. They automatically apply it to the following year. And I don't necessarily think, a rookie IDP linebacker is going to translate to an LB1 or even an LB2 necessarily. I mean, Devin Bush could be that guy for sure. But I think I told Jameson this earlier this afternoon, man. Fantasy is about gambling. And when I gamble, man, I want all the odds in my favor. And therefore, I want to know everything about a person. And you know way more about a veteran IDB player than you do as a rookie player. So I'm a little bit more hesitant when I draft a rookie IDP guy versus a rookie offensive player. You usually have way more information, just kind of how the media is and how the NFL Combine's set up. You get a lot more out of the offensive grading system and everything. I'm not gonna give up a first round pick for Devin Bush. He could be worth it. He could, but again, I like to put my money in a safe spot and not risk it on a rookie like number 2 player.
Like old Bruce Arians, Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coach. No risk it, no biscuit. So you gotta go all out. Get the talent before he's known, and you could say that you landed a gem in Devin Bush. But to finish it off, our fantasy comparison for him, I actually read this in our new league that me and Jameson joined, and I actually really like the comparison. It's Jalen Smith, the linebacker for the Cowboys. He said that it reminded him of the uh, Notre Dame back before he had that terrible knee injury, the last game of his career, and it put him back a year. Like he finally started to come into form last year, and he really could be a stud in both fantasy and in real life. So that was my fantasy comparison.
You're talking about Julio's article that he wrote?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good comparison.
James, you got something to say?
No, I like Jalen Smith coming into form. If Devin Bush, I think, is a Jalen Smith player, I think that's a solid comp. But I think he has the potential to actually play even better, I think.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, it's definitely not his ceiling for sure. But like Pat was talking about, he wants to go with these offensive guys more known as far as fantasy. And this next guy,
easier to predict and project.
Exactly. Yeah. And this guy fits right in that bill. It's no other than Josh Jacobs, running back for the Raiders. Consensus, I know, depending on which league you're in, or it could be different. But in ours, the way that ours is set up with keepers and everything else, we had a consensus grade of a second-round pick. And potentially our new league, I could easily see him being just the first round, just somebody just totally gambling on it, and like a late first-round pick. But in ours, in the LCC, second-round pick. And then, of course, he's going to be instant starter. There's nobody there to compete with him out in Oakland because we know Isaiah Correll had that terrible ACL injury, and they did sign Doug Martin, but nobody's worried about him.
Doug Martin? You might as well say they signed Jameson Nicholas to compete with Jai. Get out of here. Doug Martin? Come on. Josh Jacobs is an RB2, an instant starter. Not afraid of Doug Martin. God.
All right, so I'm
angry you even brought him up. Get out of here, Isaac. Doug Martin.
I just want to throw out a former Buck out there. But to finish it off, our fantasy comparison, I was really torn to chime between who I really thought he was like. Both these guys run hard. Both of these guys can catch the ball. And I'm torn between Alvin Kamara and Marshawn Lynch. So I'm thinking like a hybrid. Neither one of them have really breakaway speed. They're in the late 4.5s, mid 4.6s. But their contact, their power, like the way they shoot the gaps, the way they make people miss in the open field, it all fits in that realm of Josh Jacobs and his talent out of Alabama.
And you did not love Josh Jacobs when we first started talking about him a few months back near the combine. Do you remember that, Patrick? We got that text that day from Isaac, and he's like, "This is your RB1, a 4.68. This is your RB1." He's all upset about it.
No, I was making fun of Julio because he was talking about the Bucs getting him in the real draft, and how he was going to be a stud, and how he's going to show out at the combine. And then that's why I was like, 4.61. That's what you got, really? A 4.61?
Well, the Bucs would have been so lucky. They only got Rojo.
I know, right? And Peyton Barber.
Rojo and Peyton Barber. Oh my goodness.
Anyway, change the subject to that real quick. Another guy that's on the Raiders team with them, actually, no other than Jonathan Abrams, defensive back. He's probably pretty strong safety, though. But our consensus grade, we had him, I think it was pretty consensus, is like every one of us had it. I think it was a third-round grade, honestly. Yeah. Trying to think back. We don't have it in front of us.
Yep.
And this guy's playing status, he has to compete with Carl Joseph, but it seems they spent a high first-round pick on him. Wait, no, late first-round pick on him. Yeah, it was at the end of the first round, right?
It was at 22, I think. I don't remember the exact number, but yeah, it was in the 20s.
I mean, they had so many of them last year. It's hard to keep which one they drafted who with. It depends on if it's going to be something we have to monitor during training camp to see if he beats him out. It seems like Carl Joseph's on his way out, the way he was benched last year with John Gruden. But so our playing status, we got him as the
That's the only hesitation is the fact that he's not listed as the starter right now, and the rookie draft takes place in 2 weeks. It's like if he was a starter now, he'd probably be a first or second round pick in our conference with how much people want safeties, but you just don't know. You don't want to take that risk with a first round pick until you know for sure. But you're right. Carl Joseph they don't like him for some reason. So I don't see him being in that spot.
And
long.
what's crazy, the year before, he was a stud. Like,
Yeah,
he was
he
really
was
good.
solid.
Like, he kind of fell off towards the end of the year, but he was one of my first waiver wire picks that I did.
Yeah.
And he was my first rounder, actually. And he did really good for me. But, yeah, he just doesn't have that camaraderie with John Gruden. And it just – they went and, like I said, spent that high first round on him. And now it seems like he's on his way out. But as of right now, he's a potential starter, sub-package guy. But like I said, if you draft him, don't draft him too high. Third round's where we got him. Keep your eye on the Raiders depth chart.
Yeah.
And
I think – sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No.
I was going to say that's
first.
how that's how I feel about most of these
Boom.
DBs in this
Roasted.
year's draft.
Yeah.
Is that I just feel like none of them have been declared the starter yet, which is understandable. I mean, minicamps just got underway for a lot of teams, so it's kind of why I'm on the fence with a lot of these guys. If Josh Jacobs was the starter, I'd probably give him a higher grade than that.
You mean Abrams?
Not Jonathan
Yeah.
Abrams. Yeah, Jonathan Abrams. Sorry.
Same team. Different
Yeah.
view. Same part.
Same
different view.
guy. Same guy.
Yeah,
Tomato,
same.
tomato.
All right. So my fantasy comparison, he's a hard hitter, not much of a ball hawk. He's a good tackling guy. So I came up with a poor man's Keanu Neal. Anyway, you guys got anything else to close out Jonathan Abrams?
I don't know. He'll be a third round pick, I think. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll start.
Well, my favorite person is next. Guy I love talking about.
Oh my
Every
God.
single week for 3 months
right.
now. Yeah.
All right. So for you people listening, see if you can guess who I'm about to say right. I'm going to give you like 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. It's David Montgomery, running back for the Bears. Surprise, surprise. We got a 5th round grade on him. Consensus. I had a 4th. I think Patrick had like a 6th or something. But anyway, we came up with a 5th. His playing status, of course, we already talked about it a million times, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. He's going to be in that running back committee with Tariq Cohen and Mike Davis, so he's going to be a potential starter. With I think what RB2, low RB2 is what me and you decided, Jameson, that we think he's going to finish.
Yeah, low end RB2. I've already said it, a while back. I think he's going to get Jordan Howard-esque numbers. Jordan Howard finished 20th in our league last year. So that's a lowish, mid to low RB2. That's probably about where he'll be, somewhere around that mark. He could finish higher. He could also finish lower. And that's why I gave him a 4th or 5th round grade, is if you're getting a low end RB2, that's where you'd probably get him in this draft. So that's why he is where he is.
All right. And then I've already talked about his comparison. I was trying to think of somebody fantasy-wise. If it was going to be fantasy, it would just be a poor version of this. It would be a poor version of Kareem Hunt. They're not the fastest, but they can make people miss in the open field. They can catch the ball. They can play all 3 downs. So fantasy comparison, poor man's Kareem Hunt. Real life, I think he could have the actual Kareem Hunt type talent out there. He just has to have the opportunity to prove it to everyone.
I think the best thing for him is if he is comped to Kareem Hunt in a talent, kind of measurable, that he goes to the Bears, Matt Nagy, who came from Kansas City, and coached under Andy Reid, and knows how to utilize running backs.
And then
that's a really good.
Wasn't Kareem Hunt's first year under Matt Nagy?
Under Matt Nagy, it was. Yeah, it was his rookie season.
So
I will say
really makes me excited.
One of the big night and day differences between these 2 running backs is one was filmed kicking a woman, one wasn't. I love that about Dave Montgomery.
Oh my God.
And we went there.
Oh man.
Oh my God. Well, you're right. That's a huge plus for David Montgomery, I guess. Oh my gosh.
One of them may not play this year. One of them is probably going to play.
Verdict's still out on David Montgomery. Please don't kick a woman, especially if I draft you. I can only take so many fantasy players going out because of suspensions due to kicking, and not the Cody Parkey kicking, the actual kicking of a woman.
Well, Cody Parkey doesn't kick, as evident by that last Bears game.
And he got fired, so.
Yeah. Yep.
I thought you were going to play Boom Roasted, but that's cool. I'll just leave
No,
right into the
he,
next
he
guy.
got boom roasted by the whole city of Chicago. I don't have to do that to him. Poor guy.
He did get it pretty rough, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
All right. Our next guy, N'Keal Harry, wide receiver for the Patriots. Consensus, we got about a 5th round grade on him in our conference. He's obviously an instant starter. I mean, there's naming the receivers besides Edelman. Josh Gordon's suspended.
Demarius Thomas is old and broken.
But he's also coming off an ACL.
But yeah, broken. And then I don't even remember who. I don't even know who else they have there. Gronk's gone.
Philip Dorsett.
Oh God, he's been teasing us for how many years? 4 years now, maybe.
God,
I'm
you're
not
such a
interested.
tease.
You're such a tease. I'm not interested in Philip Dorsett at all. I love N'Keal Harry. As soon as he got drafted, he instantly went to wide receiver 1. I liked him before the draft. He is my wide receiver 1 for this rookie class. I think he fits right next to Julian Edelman, and I think he's going to have a fairly good rookie season relative for wide receivers. That's why he's actually lower, is because he is a wide receiver. They don't tend to boom as fast as running backs do.
Where do you see him overall in the grand scheme of things, like range? Where do you see him finishing
as a wide receiver? Like what number?
Yeah, as a wide receiver. Yeah.
Oh man, wide receiver 32, 33, somewhere along that line. He's a wide receiver 3, in my opinion.
So you're saying he's a great backup receiver.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think he'll be a good backup receiver in our league. With
the base 2 wide receiver / tight end format, and you have the option of a flex if you so choose to start an extra receiver.
Exactly.
But
Exactly. No, yeah. I think he could. I think that's his floor. I think he could finish even higher, depending on what they do with Edelman. But yeah, I think he'll be in the early 30s, early to mid 30s. Absolutely.
Okay.
And Jameson, it's funny that you mentioned that Demarius Thomas is on the team, because that's actually my fantasy comp back when he was healthy and playing back in Denver.
Okay, good.
I mean,
young Demarius Thomas.
Not the old crippled one. No. Yeah,
no one wants
the one that was back in the day that was consistently 1,000-yard guy.
Yeah.
Back when Peyton Manning was there, like he was a legit wide receiver in fantasy and in real life. So that's my fantasy comparison for N'Keal Harry.
Cool.
So next we got another guy I've been semi-high on, which they don't really like, but we're gonna go into it. Miles Sanders, running back for the Eagles. Consensus, we have a 6th round grade on him. Just a little bit below David Montgomery. I think just talent-wise, really. But I mean, he's going to be same situation. And a running back committee in Philly, going to have Corey Clement, Josh Adams, Wendell Smallwood, old man Sproles if he's still there. So they said they're going to try to give him the ball like 10 to 15 times a game. So we'll see how it goes. But he really could be a star if he breaks out. So I wouldn't really spend a really high pick on him. But he's definitely a guy that you can really just take a shot on, like somebody that's on the brink of the playoffs or something. You really could just take a shot to put you over the edge. Hold a second, my computer just went dark. All right. Then my fantasy comparison for him, he's a catcher. He's a scat back. He's a third down. He can catch the ball really good. He's a lot faster than David Montgomery is. He ran like a 4.42, something like that. He was obviously the backup to Saquon Barkley in Penn State. So I'm going to stay with James White. It's a poor man, James White. He's going to be in situations. He's going to get a lot of catches. He's going to be really good in PPR. Maybe not this year, but in his future. But like in our new league, that standard scoring, he probably would be drafted way late, if at all.
Yeah, and that's the best comp I could think of. They're both playing committees. They both catch the ball. Neither one of them is between the tackles. I mean, Sanders better than James White for sure, but I think their opportunity is probably about the same. I think James White's going to catch more passes than Miles Sanders will, but that's really where I had him too. The thing about Sanders, he's crazy talented, but he's in the Eagles are the committee in the NFL. If there is an RBBC in the league, it's them. Every single year they run like 4 running backs. Even when they get the best one, they still run him with all the other running backs for some reason. It's a weird thing. So I think that's what really hurts his value, in my opinion. But he will have a couple boom weeks, 2 or 3 weeks in the year where he'll put up 33 points in our league, 35 points. But I don't know how much value he's going to have week to week.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Jameson. Miles Sanders is a guy I'm not super hyped on. I poor man's James White. I would say that's about fair. I wasn't excited about James White really last year. I'm definitely not excited about him as much this year either. And same with Miles Sanders. So
You know how he finished last year, right?
I know where he finished, but I guess I'm looking
I'm
at a
about to
different
say
perspective.
he was a damn good PPR running back last year.
Wait, let me guess. Do you know the number, Isaac?
I mean, I could pull it up if you want me to.
I was gonna guess. I was gonna guess RB 17 in our league.
Yeah, he rode RB2.
Right.
I'm just curious.
I mean, that sounds about right.
All right, it is It's loading right now. We're gonna find out.
The thing with running backs like that is they get game scripted out really easy. If they're not behind, I mean, and they're not throwing passes, they're useless. You know.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
RB11. He finished ahead
Ooh.
of Phillip Lindsay, Chris Carson, Nick Chubb, Adrian Peterson, Tariq Cohen, Marlon Mack, Jordan Howard, Kenyon Drake, Lamar Miller.
I wonder
Sonny
if you
Michel.
asked the 2 James White owners in our league, did you feel like James White finished as an RB1 last year? I wonder what their answer to that would be. I know he did. But
Tyler would say yes.
Tyler,
Tyler, his roster's so bad. He'd be like, yeah, he was fantastic.
he was great.
All right, listen to these stats. Week 1, 22. Week 2, 20. Week 3, 24. Week 4, 43. Week 5, 36. Week 6, 22. Week 7, 52. Week 8, 33. Week 9, 38. Week 10, 9.
I will say this. If Chris Carson and Phillip Lindsay would have played the entire year consistently, they would have finished ahead of James White. So maybe
yes,
that's why I'm
I've
feeling
done
that
that
way.
math, but I'm just talking about where he actually finished.
Yeah.
I mean, he was damn near top
But-
10. I mean, he was knocking on the door.
James White, they've got Damian Harris now, and Rex Burkhead's coming back healthy. James White's going to regress. Miles Sanders actually might fit the James White model this year. So we'll see what happens. But, I mean, I wouldn't get crazy hyped about it, but he can win you some games. So I think someone's going to draft him.
You know who
And
else
don't forget about
averaged?
Sonny Michel.
Instagram show.
You know who averaged just as many points as James White? Which I don't
Your mom.
know. It's Marlon Mack. They both average 25 points a game. So that's
I
kind
love
of
me some
interesting.
Marlon Mack.
I do too, man.
And they're complete opposites,
they are.
too.
They're
Yeah, they are.
Marlon Mack can't catch the ball, but that's what James White, that's his bread and
Yep.
butter.
Yeah. Marlon Mack's probably a safer pick, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah. Usually your grounded pounds are, especially in our new standard league that we're in. Yeah, you want those grounded pound guys because you're going to get no points from the PPR.
Well, you get receiving
None.
yards, though.
Yeah, but that's still nothing compared to the actual yardage. Like Jordan Howard is going to be a lot more valuable last year than James White was, even though James White finished him ahead of him in our league. But
We gotta
all right,
get
we've
moving.
talked enough
I
about
was about
Miles
to say,
Sanders
we're-
and James
We
White.
are way behind.
It's cool. It's cool. We good. Next, we got Mark. I don't know how you say it. Mecole Hardman or McCole Hardman?
I'm calling him
Wide receiver
Mecole,
for the Chiefs.
like Michelle.
Hey, I didn't think Dayon Buchanan was pronounced that. I thought it was Dion, but whatever.
Isaac can't
Mecole.
pronounce
to each his
anything.
own.
Mando, Dayon.
Dude, let's just
Well,
call him
Deion-
Coltrane. Let's just call him Coltrane.
And moving on.
Coltrane.
McCall Hardman.
And I'm
Wide receiver
calling
for the Chiefs. We got a 6-round grade on him. Instant starter. Obviously, with Tyreek Hill suspension, we've already talked about it. Fantasy comp, Brandon Cooks. Both extremely fast. I didn't want to do Tyreek Hill here. I wanted to be a little bit different. The actual measurables are really similar between McCall Hardman and Brandon Cooks. So I see that type of fantasy impact from him. But with Patrick Mahomes as his quarterback, I really think he's got a little bit higher. You're thinking of the Brandon Cooks back where Drew Brees was there, not the Brandon Cooks now.
Well, for me, it's like high ceiling, low floor. Like it could be really bad, or it's going to be fantastic. Yeah.
Solid.
So he's a high risk, high reward type of guy, I think.
out of all the guys we've said ahead of him, this is probably the best valued pick. I really love. If I were to get McCole Hardman in the 6th round, that'd be great. I think, like you guys say, I think he's going to be like a solid receiver this year, and we'll talk, I'm sure, some of these other guys too. But I love McCole, dude. Or Coltrane. Coltrane.
I can tell you right now, he's not gonna last until the 6th round.
Isaac, you only have a 4th round pick, Isaac. How are you gonna draft him in the 4th round?
I know. I know.
I didn't say I was gonna do it. I'm just saying he's not gonna last. I already got my receivers, man.
That'd be.
I got my receivers.
I don't think anyone's gonna get him before then. We literally have no one except you and me with their picks in yet.
Yeah.
Anyway, unless they listen to this episode and they're like, "Hey," but
be like, Jameson, who you picking? You gonna skip that one? All right, skip this one
we'll
too.
just skip all the picks. Isaac, you and me.
All right, moving on. We got Darnell Savage, defensive back from the Packers. We got about an 8th round grade on him. I was a little bit higher than you guys were, but this is what we came to. Instant starters, going to play free safety in the old Clinton Dick spot. I know. I always laugh when I say that name. I don't know why you get your name changed to that, but anyway. And real quick, fantasy comp. Wanted to go here just for the playmaking ability he has, but I thought that would be too easy. That's what she said. So I'm going to go to Demarius Randall, another ex-Green Bay Packer. Both came out of college, didn't know if they could play corner or safety, but they had really good ball skills. And that's my fantasy comp for him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not super excited as a talent, but they drafted him high. There's a lot of draft capital. He doesn't have a ton of guys in his way. Josh Jones is, I think, the starter ahead of him right now. If he wins the starting job, I think he's relevant.
No, Josh Jones demanded a trade, because they're saying Savage is going to get the job. Like, he wants out. He's like, man, you spent a 2nd round pick on me a couple of years ago, and I'm just sitting here on the bench. Like, he's real upset about it.
Last year, I think it was last year they spent that pick on him, didn't they? Right behind Zaire Alexander.
No, I think it was the year before.
Either way, if he wins a starting job, I think he's definitely worth a look. Either way, I mean, that late in the draft, I think he's definitely worth looking at. As long as like all these safeties, as long as he gets the opportunity, there's definitely a lot of potential there. Yeah. We need to see those depth charts is what we need to see.
Hey, speaking of depth charts, the next guy is another guy you really need to monitor for depth charts. It's no other than Jermaine Pratt, linebacker for the Bengals. We got a 9th round grade on him just because it's the speculation of, is he going to start or is he not? So his playing status is potential starter. Actually, I really think he could be a stud, honestly, especially in our tackling heavy point scoring system. Otherwise, he'll be a sub package guy. So like I said, monitor those depth charts. Take a late round pick on him. I mean, it's a gamble. You don't really know, but you're not wasting high draft capital on the guy. And my fantasy comp is Tahir Whitehead, who averaged about 29 points a game last year. I know Jameson said he's never heard of him a couple weeks ago, but I've known of him for a long time, even back when he was with the Lions, and he's been a very, very solid player, both fantasy and real life.
I know who Tahir Whitehead was. He was a top 20 linebacker last year. I just don't.
I can go back and get a clip and say I don't even know who Tahir Whitehead is.
No, I know who he is. I just don't love him as a player. But Jermaine Pratt, I mean, that's a guy most people that are listening right now haven't heard of. We haven't talked about him up to this point. And Isaac, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there weren't any linebackers from Cincinnati to finish in the top 40 last year in our league, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, there's a lot of them were injured. Preston Brown got injured. Nick Vigil got injured. Vontae Verfit got injured. So they're constantly some people play half a year, the other people play the other half a year. So they didn't have a lot of playing time to accumulate points. That's why none of them finished in the top.
Hopefully that's the case. I think this guy can definitely change that though, if he can win a starting job.
Yeah, I honestly think Jermaine's going to win that battle. I think you're going to see Jermaine starter week 1.
I saw a little news article about them potentially him starting over Preston Brown at middle linebacker, which I thought was very interesting considering he played outside in college at NC State. So, I mean, can he make that leap and play middle? I mean, that's just something we're going to have to see. Like I said, monitor those depth charts. So the next guy, we got Donkey Kong Metcalf, wide receiver for the Seahawks. Got the same round grade as the other guy, Jermaine Pratt. He's got a ninth round grade. Instant starter. We all know Doug Baldwin retired. If you don't know that, why are you playing fantasy? And we also know that Seahawks played Russell Wilson, bukus of millions of dollars now, and he's locked up. So they're really invested in throwing the ball. DK Metcalf is going to be the number one guy, so instant starter. I got him as a poor man's Julio Jones. What you guys think?
I think a very poor man's Julio Jones. But there's a lot of opportunity for him. Doug Baldwin's gone, like you mentioned. Tyler Lockett and David Moore, if I'm not mistaken, are his only competition on that roster for catches. David Moore's a nobody. And Tyler Lockett is a completely different skill set than what DK Metcalf is. He's got all the physical traits.
Well, they're both burners, though.
Yeah, but Tyler Lockett's tiny. DJ Metcalf is incredibly large, and he can.
He's like he's like your height, right?
Who?
Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, exactly. I'm 5'10". That's tiny for a receiver in the NFL. He's your size, Jameson. Yeah, dude, I'm 5'10", 160 pounds. Like I said, tiny.
I didn't know if you were going to call yourself tiny or not.
Well, I mean, relative to the NFL player, yeah, I'm a little guy. DK Metcalf, though, he's got a different skill set than Tyler Lockett. I think that he can be a red zone threat, and I think he can start opposite of him. And I mean, he doesn't have a lot of routes. But that could lead to some kind of big playability, though.
Hey, man, if you run a 4.3, just fly route all day.
Yeah,
just go.
You're 6'5". You can get down the field in 2 seconds. We'll just chuck it 50 yards to you, man. So we'll see what happens, but he's got potential.
Just don't pull your hamstring on the way there.
Man.
Pat's loved him for a few months now. So
yeah, since we did our pre NFL Combine episode with Julio, man, I've been super stoked about DK Metcalf. I mean, his speed does not lie. I know he has injury history. Everyone has a little bit of concerns about the route tree and stuff and his ability to run an NFL route tree. But, dude, the athletic ability, it's there. The other stuff can be taught.
Yeah.
Except for your healthiness. Healthiness doesn't always – it's not something you could teach.
Well, they could teach you to avoid hits and stuff like that. I mean, they can kind of help some of it.
And it also could
strengthen your
nutrition and the way. Yeah. I mean, there's certain things, but I mean, there's plenty of guys that have the talent, but just can never stay healthy, and that's just a sad part about sports. Honestly,
I think that'll be the true challenge to whether DK ends up being a legitimate NFL receiver or not. Is his ability to stay on the field, because
you can learn those routes.
Here is my bold statement for the year. I'm going to throw that card out now.
Oh God,
DK becomes the number one guy in Seattle at the latest next season. The 2020 season.
That's not really that bold.
I thought you were about to say something crazy like wide receiver rookie of the year or something. What? That's not.
Well, think of it this way: there's still a lot of time for these guys to make trades, free agent moves next offseason. So I'm saying, regardless, DK is the guy in Seattle.
Still not that bold.
I mean, I would
not that bold, Cotton.
I wouldn't bet against it or for it. I mean, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
All right, Jameson. I know you're really excited about this next guy. You made your own sound drop for him. So go ahead and
put this together because Isaac thought it. I don't know.
And we're no other talking about Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray, he's electric.
He's electric with the Cardinals. In our league, we know he's not going to be one of those top 12 quarterbacks to start, but he's definitely worth a backup look. We got a 10th round grade on him. I think that's a solid area, a little bit higher than some guys went last year, but he's a guy that you really should pay attention to. Obviously, he's an instant starter. And fantasy comp, this one was really easy. Russell Wilson, like we talked about with the last guy, just the ability to scramble, the arm strength, the accuracy. I mean, man's the real deal.
Guess where Matthew Berry has him ranked in quarterback rankings for this season? What number?
Matthew Berry?
The fantasy. Dude, he's like the fantasy guy on ESPN. He has his own show.
I would have to see his face. When I usually look on things, you usually just see the little head of the person.
You know who Matthew Berry is. Come on, man.
I would have to see the picture. I don't give a shit who does it. I just flip through and look at the information they're doing.
Well, he's the fantasy guy on ESPN, so he's kind of like the main guy. Can you guys guess what number they have him ranked?
8.
No, not that high.
Sure, hopefully. I'm gonna go 17.
No, they've got him at 14. They've got him ahead of guys like Mitch Trubisky, Dak Prescott, Matt Stafford, like all those guys. So there's a lot of faith in Kyler Murray this year, almost a QB1. According to
saying
them.
he's ahead of Matt Stafford is not saying much after his poor year last year, so that's not much. But
I mean, Mitch Trubisky, Dak Prescott.
yeah.
They believe in him. Like 14 is almost QB1 territory.
All right, so almost done, guys. I know. Bear with us. We're gonna run a little bit late, but 13th we got Nasir Adderley, defensive back for the Chargers. Like Kyler Murray, he's a 10th round grade. Another guy you really have to check the depth chart. We know the Chargers like to run those 3 defensive backs. Nasir Adderley should be one of those next to Derwin James. I'm trying to think of the other guy. Not Michael Griffin. Can you guys remember the other guy?
Adrian Phillips.
Yep, there you go. Some guy with dreads. I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, those are going to be the 3 guys. If you guys remember a couple years ago, Trey Boston was there and he played that free safety role. You remember before he went to the Cardinals?
I do.
Yeah.
He was very fantasy relevant that year. He averaged, in the mid 20s in our league. So he's definitely worth a flyer on the 10th round pick. So potential starter, sub package guy. Keep your eye on a depth chart. Kind of reminds me of, I think probably like a Ha Quentin Dix. Really, he's a ball hawk. He could tackle.
I'm not as high on him as you guys are, or at least as Isaac is, just because of the Chargers, playing 3 safeties a lot. But
way to throw me into the bus there, Jameson.
No, I'm just saying, like my grade was lower than what the consensus was. I'm targeting other DBs, but I mean he's not awful. I just don't like the fact there's so much other talent on that roster.
I just looked at the past couple of years what the numbers those free safeties put up, and he's definitely going to be worth the 10th round pick for the past couple of years. The guys that they had Jalil Adai back there for 2 years. Then they had Trey Boston.
Wait, Jalil Adai played a whole season? What?
Yeah.
That dude.
I mean, he gets hurt, but
yeah, like all the time. That dude is he's like a walking like hospital bill or something. I don't know. Like he can't stay not broken. It feels like. I didn't know he was still even playing. Good on you, Jalil.
He's a free agent. He's a free agent now.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Probably hence the reason that they drafted this guy.
Poor guy.
Next, we got another defensive back, Juan Thornhill, defensive back for the Chiefs. I know Jameson's really high on him. We got a 12th round grade on him.
I am too.
Potential starter, sub package guy. Just keep your eye on the depth chart. He's supposed to go. We're trying to figure out who's going to start with the safeties. They have Daniel Sorensen. They have Tyrann Mathieu. So where does Juan Thornhill fit in? He's most likely a natural free safety, but that's the same position as Tyrann Mathieu. We've already kind of talked about this a couple episodes ago. If you haven't, go listen. So what you guys think? I mean, I think he's a bigger Kareem Jackson, honestly.
Yeah, he is bigger. He is a bigger Kareem Jackson. He's versatile like Kareem Jackson is. He can play safety or DB pretty well. He's not going to play in the box a lot, I think, with Tyrann Mathieu there. I think he's going to play more. I think Tyrann Mathieu is actually going to come down to the box. He's going to play kind of over the top. The good and the bad are really the same things, is that he's versatile. He could end up playing a lot more corner in some games. He could end up playing a lot more safety in some games. The thing with him, you just don't know where he's going to be until later in the year. But his talent and his measurables are off the charts. I like him a lot.
And I think if he did play corner, it would be the slot, because those could easily be dropped back at that point. I mean, slot guys get a lot of tackles. So in our league, that's really something to keep an eye on. I mean, yes, he is a hybrid guy that can play multiple positions, but it's in good spots. And like you said, the Chiefs are always going to be, the defense is always going to be on the field because the other team's going to be trying to catch up with Patrick Mahomes and that offense.
And they spent a high pick on him too. The draft capital is there. It's not like they got him in the 4th or 5th round. They got him in the 2nd round. So they clearly believe they have some sort of role for him. I'm keeping an eye on him late in the draft.
Yeah, honestly, I can't remember if I had Juan at number 2. or number 3 on my DB rankings. But I'm a big fan of his, man. I just kind of wish he was in a different situation. Or again, we knew who the clear starter was at the moment, but we don't, and kind of how he's going to be used. But no, he's worth a gamble. 12th round pick or later, sure, that's great.
Speaking of 12th round, the next guy's got a 12th round grade just like this guy, and it's a South Carolina alumni. See if you guys can guess it. And Deebo Samuel, wide receiver, 49ers. Yes, he is a potential starter. We really think he's going to win that starting slot role with the 49ers. And Jimmy G is going to they're going to do pretty good. I think he's going to get probably about 600 yards, 50 catches, you guys think? A couple touchdowns, maybe like 4?
Yeah, maybe. We were talking about that yesterday. 700 yards, 4 touchdowns. Wide receiver 4-ish territory, maybe. Late 3, early 4.
Yeah, I basically got him having like a very similar DJ Moore type year, his rookie year. That's kind of the kind of production I see out of Deebo.
But I like his opportunity. They spent a very high pick on him, early second round. He was literally the second receiver off the board in the draft, or the third receiver.
I think he was the third,
behind Marquise Brown and maybe AJ Brown. I don't know if AJ Brown would have hit him or not, but so they trust him. There's not like a talented guy on the roster that's going to take all the receptions from him. George Kittle is there, but he's a tight end. Dante Pettis is okay. Marquise Goodwin's just a burner. So I think they have a role for him. Rumor has it as he's going to play the X spot, the number 2 spot. So we'll see. But they didn't spend all that capital to not utilize him on a week-to-week basis. So he's worth looking at.
And I think long term, like his career, he's going to really remind you of Golden Tate, the shiftiness, the ability to play inside, outside. Like he's a route running master. Deebo is just like Golden Tate.
I'd be cool with a young Golden Tate.
Yeah, I think anyone would.
All right, so those were our 15 guys consensus that we came up with. These next 3 guys are going to be some honorable mentions. They just didn't make the cut, just barely. We got Nick Bosa, Paris Campbell, and Marquise Brown. We all had a 13th round grade on them consensus.
Nick Bosa didn't make mine because he's a defensive end, and I'm not drafting those guys until late, just because there's so many of them. I don't really care. Paris Campbell, I love him, but he does have T.Y. Hilton, and then Devin Funchess can hog red zone targets, and Eric Ebron.
Funchies.
So that's what I'm a little worried about. I love Paris Campbell's talent. Talent-wise, he's probably number 2 or 3 for me in wide receivers, but I just feel like he won't get a ton of opportunity in his first season. And then Marquise Brown, I actually like him, a ton of opportunity, but I just don't know how much Baltimore is going to throw the ball and how accurate Lamar Jackson is. That's what concerns me, but he's an incredibly talented wide receiver, and I think I had him ranked higher than both of you guys did. I know Isaac had him pretty low, but that's how he got.
Yeah, I had all my wide receivers pretty low because I've gotten burned so many years in the past by drafting wide receivers, so screw you guys. I'm just going to draft you real late if I draft you at all. Imagine if Marquise Brown went to the Chiefs. At that point, his grade would have went sky. Yeah, he would have skyrocketed. Absolutely. He just got stuck in a really bad fantasy.
AJ Brown's the same situation, in my opinion. Had he gone to a place like Pittsburgh, or really anywhere else,
Green Bay,
he'd be a 4th round pick easy. But they just don't like their situations.
Yeah, let me talk about my honorable mention, man. It's none other, and I know you guys. I don't even know if you guys had him on your radar at all, but
you didn't jump ahead of me, did you?
Too late.
Too late.
Yeah, you did. All right, so real quick. Damn, Pat's just trying to wrap up this show. He won't even let me finish. All right, last little bit. We had one guy that was on our radar that wasn't on the other 2. So, Pat, go ahead, kick us off.
Yeah, it's Bobby. I keep screwing this poor man's name up.
Okiriki.
Bobby Okiriki. I'm guessing that's how you say it. Word is this dude could become the middle linebacker for the Colts. For those of you who don't know, Darius Leonard's actually an outside linebacker, and he put up those kind of numbers, which is an anomaly for sure. If Bobby can go in there, and I think he can, I honestly am not impressed with the Colts linebacker core overall, other than what my boy Darius did
I was
last
about
year.
to say you're not
other
impressed
than
with Darius Leonard. The
no,
guy just
other-
broke like every rookie record ever for tackles.
other than Darius, I think Bobby will probably end up being the second best linebacker on that team, and if he's the middle linebacker in that defense, I'm excited about him, man. He's 6'1", 238. That's pretty average for your middle linebacker size these days. He's got the speed, he's got the capability. It's just whether or not he can win that starting job. We'll see, but again, he's not a guy you should be giving up a whole lot for. Definitely a guy you should target probably 12th round or later in our draft. Most other rookie drafts.
Then why'd you give him a
may be able
10th round? Why'd you give him a 10th round grade then?
Well, I think I could get him in the 12th. That's the thing. Like, I think he's good enough to be able to get in the 10th, but I think
But
most people
nobody's gonna
are
know
not
of
even
him?
know. Yeah, exactly. I think you could probably pass and wait till even later on. But yeah, he's a guy I'm super excited about. But don't get mad at me if he doesn't become the starter, because right now he's technically the number 2 guy. Could become the number 1 middle linebacker on the team.
Well, since he already jumped ahead of me, I will just go back. My guy's DeAndre Baker, the tackling, hard-nosed corner out of Georgia. He's he got landed with the Giants. Had an 8th round grade on him. I think he's going to get picked on as a rookie. He's a really good tackler, and I mean I've already talked about him in other shows, so I'm not going to spend too much time on him. So Jameson, you want to wrap this up and tell us who your guy is?
Yeah, last one. I had Marquise Blair. You guys didn't have really high. I had him as an 11th round grade. That's 3rd round pick to the Seattle Seahawks. The reason I had him is because I don't like their depth. Earl Thomas is coming off an injury. Cam Chancellor's gone. Richard Sherman's gone.
Earl Thomas isn't there anymore.
Earl Thomas was coming off the injury, and now he's in Baltimore. So their entire secondary is just gone. He's not slated as a starter yet, but he certainly could be pretty quickly. They spent a 3rd round grade on him. So again, I'm not going to overpay for him, but if there's a guy that I'm looking at late that has potential, it was Marquise Blair. So I had him on my draft board that you guys didn't. So
Cool. Well,
that is it.
You made it.
So
I made it. I did my first one.
Isaac's first one. A little choppy, but we'll get better at it. Real quick before we go.
Well, thanks, man. Straight to throw me under the bus.
Oh, I'm gonna tell everybody.
You could have been like, "It's
now.
great," and then after you could be like, "Man, that was terrible."
I'm not gonna do that.
I know the beginning was a little bit of a roller coaster, but you got to get the nerves out first time. But I felt like I settled down pretty good though.
It was solid.
No,
it was solid.
I thought it was good, man.
So really quick, we're gonna play this blooper from production that we mentioned a couple weeks ago. We were on here, and all of our draft software. I'm already way ahead of myself. All of our recording software is internet-based ways because we're all remote. So I'm going to play this week. Isaac and I can hear each other. Patrick can't hear us. We can't hear him. So you kind of hear us talking over each other. He was still recorded, but it got disconnected from the podcast. We weren't sure if it was going to be able to work. So we were all kind of frustrated and freaking out. This happened behind the scenes. We were able to cut it out, but we thought it was kind of funny. I was cursing a lot because I was angry, so I had to bleep all that out. So we'll play this for you here. It's about 30 seconds. So, hello, Pat.
Yeah.
Holy
Guys there?
Hold on, I can edit all this out. I swear I can edit all this out. We just
anything
need
right
him to come back in.
Oh, lost connection to the server. Oh, man.
Get back in here, dude. Come on, for real. Oh, fuck. Are you serious?
That must be on Jameson's end.
Oh,
No, hold
still
on.
there?
We're just let him get back in. I'll just have to cut all of this out.
later.
And and that was a couple weeks ago. We had to deal with that. Smack in the. We were like 25 minutes into the show when that happened.
We were deep into
Right in the middle of it, and we had to stop.
Knees deep.
And then the next morning, I had to go back, figure out where it started, where it stopped, cut it all out, and then decided to save it and play it for you guys because I thought it was funny. So, but yeah, guys, with that, we are done. We will be back next week with an episode that has yet to be determined. We have a schedule, but we may shift things around depending on what we think about the rookies. So we'll let you guys know what happens. Don't forget to continue to comment. There's not a lot of time left, so be sure to continue doing that before June 14th for the OBJ photo, and get your picks in before the second. So see you next week.
Peace.
Bye, girl.
Bye, please.